Hello folks, right, another device review for you. Today we're going to be able to look at this little baby. Well, I say little, this thing. Whoa, right, there you go. Right, this is the K100. Now, this was something that I was in and ahhing about buying for bloody about a month, and then I found a certain Chinese website that was selling it for about 15 quid delivered, so I went ahead and bought one. What you will get in the package is it come unboxed, so where's that gone? You will get, obviously you'll get the K100, which is the mod. We'll go into solidness and all that sort of stuff in a minute, but we'll just show you what's in the package first. You'll get the K100. You'll also get this, which just happens to be a Kato cover. We're going to get that again in a minute because it does sort of have a couple of problems. And you also get a Kato, which is just a bog standard dual coil Kato. Bog standard being the main words because it is a bit crap. And you also get this rather nice looking little drip tip, which I quite like. Right, what we're going to do is I'm going to get down on the rug and we'll show you some close-ups down there. Right there. See you in a minute. Right, what I've done is I've stripped it down into its component parts. So this, except for the battery, is what you will get in your package. It will come assembled, so don't panic about that. Right. This is what you class as sort of a top cap, but really it's just the top of the telescope. So it is branded, so if you're one that doesn't like stuff branded or doesn't like their Chinese stuff branded, this probably isn't for you. Threading on this is good, I must admit, and I'm yet to have it confirmed. In fact, I think it has been confirmed now. This is made of stainless steel, so I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. You have air holes here and here, so it's well ventilated, so again, no battery overheating problems for me. Just get a close up. Now this metal, it does sort of scratch easy. Being someone who is rough on their mods, you would think that would be a sort of bad factor for me, but it's not really. I'm not that bothered because I didn't pay a lot of money for it. 510 connection is very solid. I'm someone who changes atomizers quite regularly, so a solid 510 connection is something that I really need, and this has a really good solid 510 connection. It is ego threaded, so if you do want to use it with an EVOD or anything else that's ego threaded, it does work, like so. Yep, it does work. And unlike other sort of devices that are ego threaded but still struggle, this doesn't struggle. You still get airflow. So, right, this would be your bottom tube, I suppose you'd call it. Now, there is something bad about this, and that is that it does pop. 1 second. It doesn't take a lot of force to pop it. Now, I'm not sure if that's a feature or a fault, but this blue cover does come off. It just comes off, and then you're left with a tube. It's only press fitted together as far as I can see, so there's no glue, no nothing. It is just a press fit, and that's it. But it is easy to remove, so if you was after a mod and you don't like the blue, I suppose you could still get one of these and just remove the blue, or the gold, or the silver, or the bronze, or whatever bloody colour you buy it in. So that's your bottom piece. Right, next up we have a switch. Now, it's been a good switch actually, I've got to say. It does have on and off written on it, which I sort of found off-putting, but now, at first I didn't like the knurling on this sort of rough stuff on this switch. I didn't like it at first, but I've sort of grown to love it a bit, because it's just something that gives you that little bit of extra grip around the switch. Switch itself, it can be a bit squeaky, but I don't think that detracts from it too much. There is a locking ring, which is easy enough to activate. And there is what your switch activates. So we'll just unlock it, and there is your switch. Now, I did tear the switch down, and it really is just simple spring holding back a pin. So there's not really a lot of detail I can go into about that, apart from that it is a good switch. The throw isn't too long, and if you are finding it a bit too long, another tip that I've found is use a nippled battery, and it just reduces that throw just enough, and it becomes good again then. So right, so we will assemble it now. So we want to put, let's just zoom out a bit. Want to put your top of your telescope to the bottom, and then insert any battery. It does work with an 18650, an 18350, or an 18500, so you're really spoilt for choice on the battery front. Then screw until it gets tight, is what I've learned, and then you're ready to go. Now you see what I said about a nippled battery reducing the throw. The throw is minuscule with a nippled battery. Now that for me is a good thing, because little finger fatigue can play a part, but if you've got a lower throw, it doesn't play any part at all. The switch isn't hard to activate whatsoever. It's not stiff, it's not anything, it just works. So then we go on to your Kato cover. Now the Kato cover is exactly what it says on the tin really. You stick the Kato in, and then you stick your drip tip in your Kato, and that is it. Now this Kato cover does have its faults. It stops airflow sort of to the Kato, to the point of the Kato burning. So I'm not sure if that's just something that I've experienced or whether it's something that everybody's experienced, but it does stop airflow. So I've not been using the Kato cover whatsoever. Right, I will show you the device in 18350 mode, because 18350 in this mod for me is where it's at. As you can hear, the threading is decent, it's not crappy, so you have no worries there either. Right, 18350 mode. It is minuscule. It is really tiny. I mean, even with an atomizer attached, it's still really small. If you can see that, that is tiny. Really small. that is the mode that I like to use it in the most because of its small size. I mean, I do have relatively big hands anyway, but the size of that, it's just tiny, and it works really good in 18350. Right. But when I come back up, I shall be using it in 18650 mode, and I shall show you how it performs, show you its oddities, and just generally blab on. I'll see you in a second. Right, we've come back up so I can show you the device, how it performs. Right, it's back in 18650 mode. It's firing. Now, another tip, if you want to reduce the throw, I'll just bring this here. Right, that is not firing, right? That's full throw. If you just tighten it up to cover up the first air hole, which is there, so you want to cover that, it then fires. If you want a slightly shorter throw, just keep tightening and you get one. So simple as that. If you want a lower throw, just tighten it up a little bit more. I mean, the spring in the bottom is good, it's good, it can take it. So right, things of note, this blue top cap thing, this cover does come off, and then you get this, which becomes quite a plain looking little mod, which is quite nice. I have used it without the cover as well, so, and it still works just as well. Just as well. Now, in this review, I can't, because I don't have the equipment, so I can't go into whether it drops voltages or all that sort of fancy stuff, because I'm not that kind of reviewer really. I'm just going to tell you whether the device works as it should, whether it works as it's advertised. So, and for me, it really does. Yeah, it works good. Now, I'll show you this Kato cover problem that you might come across. Now, here's your Kato cover, right? You put your Kato cover, no you don't, you put your Kato on first, right? And there it sits with its Kato. You put the Kato cover over the top. No, actually, in fact, first what I'll show you is the Kato's performance without the cover. It's good, it tastes good, it works good, it produces well. When you put the Kato cover on and tighten it onto the ego threading on the bottom, what you might find, which I have found, it reduces it reduces the airflow and your Kato will burn. My Kato, I tried it with the Kato that came with it, and I've tried it with another Kato, and it burnt both of them. So something to be wary of if yours is the same as mine. Don't forget, mine was bought directly from China, so it might be a little different, but I don't think it's going to be. The Kato cover will make your Kato burn. 1 second. Oh, the sweat. Right. Now, as a whole, is the K100 worth the money? In my opinion, if you want uber cheap mechanical, even as a backup device, definitely consider the K100. If you want something that looks a bit fancy, consider the K100. If you want something plain, consider the K100. If you want something easy to fire and easy to lock, consider the K100. I can't go into voltage drops and all that sort of stuff. All I know that is when I've got a dual coil dripper sitting on it, or indeed a Cobra clone sitting on top of it, it performs awesome. There's no fault in that performance. I mean, for the money that I paid for this mod, which was £15 delivered direct from China, I cannot fault it. It is available in the UK right now at this moment. One vendor off the top of my head that I know has it in stock, I will just check that 1 second, I think is the Vaping Volt. I'm just checking that 1 second. There. Yes, they have it in stock. Now, the K100 they have in mocha or gold for £35.99. Now, even for £35, I would still consider it. It has its faults. If you want the faults it has are so small, considering that it is a budget telescope. They are so small that you shouldn't even worry about them. For me, the fire button is nice and solid. The 510 connection is again nice and solid. If you're bothered that that this little blue cover thing is going to come off, just don't be as rough as it with I am, I suppose. I mean, they are press fitted, as I said, so it may come off, but if it does, you can just put it back on. It never, I mean, it won't come off in your hand. You do have to apply some pressure to get it off. It's not an easy thing. I mean, if you're a Kato user and it's something you're considering because it comes with a Kato cover, don't do it, because the Kato cover is pants. But the fact that I got the Kato cover, the drip tip and the Kato was a bonus for me, so I only wanted the mod anyway. Right, so verdict is, if you want cheap, reliable, good looking telescopic mod, go for a K100. There are other telescopic mods in this category and cheaper. So, I mean, you're talking Sigelli 19s, 20s. I think Sigelli have got about 78,000 telescopes now. So, but all of those are in this price bracket. So, do some research, look at reviews before you decide what one you want to buy. But I can honestly say that the K100 can be considered. It is a good device and I like it a lot. And the fact that it comes in my favourite colour is just a freaking bonus. Right, I've been Danfoshizzle. I'll see you in the next one.